Hi, good morning here on my end. You're a little low to the ground, so I have to scoot down. This is going to be a nice flow. I had a request. I love requests, so if you have any, please send them my way. This one is for a friend that does a lot of running and a lot of hiking. And so this person is experiencing some pretty tight calves, pretty tight hip flexors, and that extends into the low back. So this is going to be focused kind of on those areas. So like hips, hammies, quads, calves, and feet. So you'll need either a strap or a towel. Just to improvise here, I have a really long sock. And then we'll also do one thing where we're gonna need a blanket. And there'll be a few poses where you might want to use a blanket to cushion your knee, but essentially or eventually we're gonna use a blanket in a nice roll. You don't want the roll to be really thick, but instead you want to fold your blanket up a few times, get it in a long position, and then roll it up like your favorite burrito, nice and tight, because we're going to use that to do a really cool trick a student actually taught me. So that being said, we'll get started in child's pose. Looks like Nibbler will be joining us this morning. I'm going to put my butt in your face. Sorry, cat. All right, so let's do big toes to touch, knees out wide. And before you just fold right forward into it, give yourself a nice kind of sway, little catwalk here to find length in the spine. Let the forearms come all the way down. Let the forehead come down. And settle here. And so take a moment to welcome yourself here into the space. Set the intention to let something go with each breath out. So you let go of any titles, any to-dos, any expectations. Create the space to dedicate this next bit of time wholeheartedly to you. Notice if there's any tension physically in the body. Can you allow it to soften here in this moment? We'll stay here for about 3 more breaths. And so, of course, you're welcome to pause and stay here a little bit longer if you want. Otherwise, we'll begin to draw ourselves forward into a tabletop pose. So you'll bring the knees so they're underneath the hips, wrists are underneath the shoulders, fingers are spread, but not as wide as they can go. Just create a bit of space in between each finger. Grip the finger pads into the floor, and for a moment, hug the thighs in towards one another. They're not actually gonna touch, and they're not actually going to move, but you're just engaging inner thighs, the adductors. And soften the tension in the legs. Begin taking a few rounds of cat-cow. So you'll inhale as you tuck the toes, tailbone gaze up. And as you exhale, round through the spine, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, press the floor away. So again, you inhale, cow pose, tailbone gaze lifts, heart shines through the arms. And exhale, round through the spine, tuck tailbone, tuck chin, press into everything touching the mat. We'll take about 3 more of those, inviting pauses at the top. So inhale, hold the breath in, hold the pose. And exhale, we take pauses at the bottom. So exhale, hold the breath out, hold the pose. 2 more, deep breath in, hold. Full breath out. Hold. 1 more. Exhale completely. Neutral spine, breathe in. Tuck the toes. Exhale, hips up and back, downward dog. Let the head hang through the arms. Soften the knees a bit. Finger pads grip into the mat still. And here, create some movement, some nice awakening movement that feels right in your body. So you might pedal the feet, shake out the head, the hips. You can come up on the toes, heels up, heels down. Take a few moments to become acquainted with yourself. And of course, you're not bound in down dog. Maybe you shift forwards or take the leg up into the air. And eventually you'll work your way into a still down dog. Check in with your neck. Make sure you're letting go of your head. Index finger knuckles are plugged into the mat. Really press the floor away with your hands. And let's inhale high on the tippy toes. Look forward in between your hands. Begin to travel to the front of the mat for a standing forward fold. So here, especially if the hamstrings or the low back are talking to you, soften the knees. You can hold on to opposite elbows for a ragdoll. You can sway, you can be still. And we'll let go of the arms. We'll bend the knees generously. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, press down into the feet. Roll up 1 vertebra at a time. Big shoulder roll at the top. 3 times. And this is a great place to pause and get a sip of coffee. All right. Mountain pose for a moment. And on an inhale, arms go up. As you exhale, come back down into your fold. Flat back as you breathe in. And as you exhale, let's step the right foot as far back as it goes. Sprinkle the knee down onto the mat. Low lunge flow for a couple rounds. You'll sink into the hips, lift the heart, gaze forwards as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, shift the hips back, straighten the front leg any amount. Give yourself a bow. So inhale forwards, low lunge. And exhale, take it back, bow. And we'll inhale, take it forwards, breathe in, one more round. Exhale, take it back. Inhale, draw the body forwards, knee over ankle, arms go up overhead, pinkies face forward, low lunge. So you might notice here my back toes are tucked. I keep them tucked for the extra toe stretch. It'll change balance a bit. Deep breath into the heart. And as you exhale, hands will frame the foot, lift the back knee up off the mat, and step left foot back to meet right, plank. We'll soften the knees to the mat, modified plank, breathe in. And as you exhale, strong straight line, chest to the floor, toes down if you lifted them. Oop, there's a cat back there. Inhale, cobra pose, lift into the heart. Exhale, take it down. 2 more, breathe in, cobra pose, press the tops of the feet down, press into the palms, exhale down. 1 more, inhale, take it up. And exhale, take it down. Stay here as you breathe in. Hold the breath, press the tabletop, tuck the toes, exhale, down dog. We're sending the right leg up into the air, stack the hips, bend the knee. Notice if you're collapsing in the left shoulder, keep the right shoulder plugged down. Inhale high on the left toes. And as you exhale, square the hips, step right foot through, left knee down. Set yourself up for low lunge flow on the second side. So you'll inhale, sink forwards. Exhale, take it back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Let's do 1 more round. Breathe in. And breathe out. And you'll inhale into your lunge, square the hips, knee over ankle, arms up, low crescent. Draw the navel in, breathe into the heart, element of a back bend. One more breath in. And exhale, hands to the floor. Lift the back knee up off the mat. Take a big step forward, flat back, inhale. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive all the way up, palms touch overhead. And exhale, right back down through your fold. Flat back, breathe in. And exhale, left foot's going way back, knee down, 1 time, low lunge flow. Inhale, exhale, take it back, bow down. And inhale forward, square the hips, arms up overhead, and we hold. All right, so here it's nice to either maybe have a block to your right, or if you don't, I like to take right forearm to thigh, palm up, and you're not going quite perpendicular with the femur bone, but there's a little bit of an angle. It's more of like an X versus a plus sign. So once you set yourself up for that, side stretch over to the right. So we're increasing stretch all the way through left side body. It's weird when you can't see my head. So this is low budget quarantine yoga. Maybe I'll invest in a tripod. All right. So we're still leaning over to the right. And even leaning back a bit. Whew. And we'll take it up to the center, breathe in, and take the hands down to the inside of the right foot. Toe heel the right foot towards the right edge of the mat a bit. Untuck the back toes if they're tucked and allow yourself to sink now forwards into the hips. So here's where we're going to go for a quad stretch. You might need your long sock or strap. Take your left hand directly underneath the left shoulder. Strong arm here, so there's a bit of an external rotation, plugging the head of the humerus into the shoulder joint. And you'll begin by bending the back leg, and you might think, hey, yeah, no way, not today. Get your long sock, long strap. Can you reach back there and hook your foot with it and use that to pull the foot towards you? We keep the hips squared to the front best we can, and you'll draw it in for a few deep breaths. So especially if it's intense, notice your breath. Don't hold, clench. But instead, use your breath to help soften into the experience. Oftentimes, we make things a little harder than they need to be. And we're not looking for pain. Discomfort might be there. That's okay. One more deep breath in. And exhale, carefully release. Take right hand down underneath right shoulder. Tuck back toes, lift back knee. Take the hips up a little higher than you think you need. Step right foot to meet the left. Adjust, plank pose. Nicely done. Either knees down or keep them up. You lower to your belly. And no hands. Inhale, lift the head, the chest, the hands, the feet, the knees. So locust pose. Really reach the toes back. Root the pubic bone into the floor. Can you inhale, lift a little higher, and exhale, release. Stay here, breathe in. Hold the breath, press the table, tuck the toes, exhale, hips up and back, down dog. A few deep breaths. All right, left leg's going up, stack the hips, bend the knee, root the left armpit down into the mat so you don't collapse on the right. High on the right toes, breathe in. Exhale, square the hips, step, left foot through, right knee down. One time, breathe in, low lunge. Exhale, take it back. Inhale, take it forwards, arms up, overhead. So low lunge, second side. So like you did before, we're either going to take the hand to a block beside us or forearm to thigh at a bit of an angle. Palm up. And side stretch now over to the left. So you're going to the left, but also aiming the heart towards the sky. So nice big back bend. Oh yeah. Inhale, take it up. And exhale, hands to the inside of the left foot, toe, heel it to the side. Hands down, sink into the hips. All right, so we're going to come back to the quad stretch on the second side. Begin to bend the right leg. Left hand goes back behind you. Try to find the foot with the hand or with your sock or strap or towel, whatever you need. Now notice if you're really twisting to the left, can you square your body forwards? Notice your breath. Notice where you're clenching, gripping, holding on. Surrender into the experience. See what softens. Stay for one more full breath in. Carefully release. Right foot down. Left hand under left shoulder. Lift the back knee up off the floor. And this time, left foot steps back to meet right, back to plank. And press straight up and back to down dog. Give yourself any squiggle squirms. And walk the hands and feet to meet in the middle of the mat. Toe heel the feet wider than your hips. Point the toes out a bit. And you're going to come into a squat. So if your heels are pulled up really high, you can always take your rolled up blanket and slide it underneath the heels so they have a surface to rest on. We can bring our hands into prayer. The knees might want to knock in a bit. Try to keep them externally rotating. So activating outer glutes, external rotators to help with that motion. Our elbows will help as well. Try not to round into the spine, but instead find length. And the core draws in a bit as well. A few more breaths. And we'll take the hands to the floor, deep breath in. Exhale, send the hips up into the air, toe heel the feet back, hip width, forward fold. And we'll one more time walk to down dog. Roll forward plank, take a vinyasa, whatever that looks like to you. You lower to the floor, inhale to a back bend, and exhale your way back to downward dog. Heels up high, breathe in, and exhale. Knees are coming down. We'll untuck the toes. All right, and come onto a kneeling position. And so this is where we're gonna use our rolled up blanket. So take your blanket. Remember, nice tight roll. And you're gonna be in a kneeling position. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna come forwards and wedge the blanket behind the knees as close as you can. And then you're gonna come back and sit on it. So what's gonna happen is your blanket's gonna become a bit of self-massage. It's gonna create pressure on the calves and on the hamstrings. So on the back of the bottom half of the leg, back of the top half of the leg. And it might feel like quite a lot at first, so see if you can really soften into it. And if the roll is too big, you can always unravel it a little bit and have the tail end go like over your heels. And then something I like to do is rock a little bit side to side, back and forth. So here when you do this action, you have what's called cross fiber friction. So all the fibers of the legs are pretty much running up and down. So if you think of your leg bones, so femur bones here, and then you have tibia, fibia in the shins, they run in the same direction. The muscles run in that direction as well. So here we're creating a surface that runs perpendicular with those muscles, and we're rocking side to side, which means we're rocking over the fibers of the tissue, the muscles. So that's why it's called cross fiber friction, because we're rolling across it. And that's a really nice way to help loosen things up. All right, so after you do this a few times, you'll lean forwards a bit and like half an inch, take the blanket down and then sit back down. And you'll do it again. And so this is a part in the video where you can pause and do this a lot longer. Then I'm gonna do it with you. My phone only records up to 31 minutes and 20 something seconds. So I'm on a time crunch, but you're not. Well, you might be. If you're not, I encourage you to do this longer. And then one more time, we lean forwards, take it down. So it might be more over the Achilles tendon. We're rolling side to side. Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right, so for the next piece, we're gonna lean it forwards, and you have the option to remove the blanket. We're gonna tuck our toes, see if you can see that. And once you tuck your toes, you're gonna begin to walk back a bit. So what may happen is you can keep the blanket there, and that'll help cushion the knee a bit so it doesn't have to flex so deeply. You can ditch the blanket. I've never done it with a blanket before, so I'm giving it a try. And it's kind of a double whammy. So my toes are tucked, and you might have to reach around and make sure all of them are tucked, especially if you have tiny little baby toes, like I do. And if this is really intense sitting down, keep your fingertips to the floor. We don't need this to be painful. Uncomfortable is okay, but not so much to where we're holding our breath and biting our jaw and squinting our eyebrows and thinking negative thoughts. All right, so we're gonna stay here for a few breaths. Almost there. All right, if your hands are off the mat, slow motion, find the floor. Ooh. We'll remove props. Take your time, untuck the toes, flatten the tops of the feet on the mat, find tabletop, pause. And best part, pat your feet. All right. And you'll roll over, make your way onto your seat. And then here you have a few options. Either take a bound angle, which will be really nice, I think, for everyone. So soles of the feet together, knees fall open, and yin style, just let yourself hang here. You can always place your head on a block or something that feels nice. And so you're welcome to stay in bound angle as long as you wish. Again, if you can, make it yin style, which means passively hold this pose for maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes. And when you feel done with bound angle, if you have time, please take a Shavasana as well. So that's where you'll just be flat on your back, arms by your sides, palms face the sky, and you soften and release and surrender there. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all for treating yourself and taking care of yourself. Again, requests, let me know. And know that you're complete. Bye.